We are back in Milwaukee, and great to be here. It is beautiful weather for tailgating. A lot of fans coming in to see the Brew Crew and the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals look like they're headed to the postseason. They're trying to win a division title, and the Brewers are going to treat this like a postseason series, trying to take those Redbirds back a little bit. St. Louis and Milwaukee, game one of this three-game series from beautiful Miller Park on a beautiful night. Hi, everybody. We welcome you. Great to have you with us. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Sophia Minard is our reporter here tonight. Well, the Brewers come back from a road trip. They had a tough loss in a walk-off loss against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Been a bright spot, though, all year. And no matter how the team has played, whether they were in contention or whether they're not, Ryan Braun continues to be that consistent force. He hit over 400 on the road trip, Rock. He's so impressive he can bounce back like he has.
Well, he's a self-motivator. I mean, you have to be that way when you put up the numbers Ryan Braun is in his career. You know, a lot of stars with a big contract and the team's not in contention. Maybe shut down a little bit, take some days off. But Ryan Braun's been in that lineup just about every day since the beginning of August. Outstanding numbers. I mean, he's hitting for power, hitting the ball to the opposite field. And what you don't see on that video is how well he's been playing in the outfield. So Braun's been consistent through the first inning through the end of the game, and you like to see that from your leaders.
Got his batting average at 290 coming into play here today. Well, the Brewers are going to play that role. They don't want to, but they're going to have to. Spoiler time. Sophia will talk more about that right after this.
By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The St. Louis Cardinals coming into Miller Park with the best record in all of baseball, 89-54 record, but the race has heated up on them. They are now just 2 games ahead of Pittsburgh. The Chicago Cubs also 4 games back. So what had been a big lead for the Cardinals, they were runaway favorites in the NL Central. The race is now suddenly tighter than what they had anticipated, and a lot of that starts here with a season-long road trip. It's a 10-game trip for the Cardinals. They dropped 3 of 4 to Cincinnati. They come here to Milwaukee and will head to Chicago after that. So overall, the Cardinals have dropped 8 of their last 11, and while the Brewers are not in contention, they will have a say in this division race. They will have 7 games remaining starting tonight against the Cardinals, and they will also see the Chicago Cubs 4-6. So Craig Counsell knows that the spoiler narrative is there for his team, and it's a role that they will take advantage of, but focusing on their ends day to day.
Playing against these teams, it adds a little bit because there's just adds something for everybody competing that is just kind of hanging out there. But it doesn't change what we're going to try to do on a daily basis, certainly. So we're going out and trying to win a game, and that's no matter who we're playing. I think when you play a good team, I think it puts more pressure on you to play well, because you're really going to have to play well to earn a win. And then, like I said, there's something in the atmosphere, the competition, that is fun to be a part of.
The Cardinals will have to go through the Brewers and rookie Ariel Pena, who's getting ready for his Miller Park debut. He'll go up against Carlos Martinez for the Cardinals. We've got first pitch coming up next.
Beautiful night here. Tuesday night, September 15th. Getting close to the end. The Brewers and the Cardinals will match up. One more occasion after this one in St. Louis. There you see the former Brewer Mike Matheny, and his Cardinals have struggled lately, giving up 4 games in the standings the last 10 days. They went from 6.5 up to 2.5 up on the Pirates. His batting order looks like this, with Matt Carpenter, Steven Piscotty, Jason Hayward. Middle of the order is Peralta, Adams, and Molina, with Wong, Jay, and Martinez rounding out Matheny's Potawatomi lineup. And that's a lineup that will face a man making his home debut at Miller Park, Ariel Pena.
He's 1-0 so far this year. His win came at Cincinnati out of the bullpen in that Wayne delay, picking up Willie Peralta. No decision at Miami in his start. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs allowed. He did walk 4 batters. Made 7 starts down in AAA and had a very good 2.37 ERA.
Set for baseball from Miller Park. 3-game series with the Cardinals, and the Brewers will welcome in the Reds after that. First pitch is in there for a strike, and away we go. Matt Carpenter comes in batting .260. Has 21 home runs this year to go along with 73 runs batted in. There are a lot of big names up and down this Cardinal lineup still. Even with all the injuries they've dealt with, they still have World Series contributors, postseason contributors, and yet their offense has been suspect during this losing skid. They really have not been a team to score a lot of runs anyway throughout this season, as Carpenter hits one sharply and a top spinner out to Ryan Braun. That's out number one. That's the way the day begins for Ariel Pena.
Yeah, let's check out the Brewers defense. Brought to you by Menards tonight. You got David Santana and Braun in the outfield. Pretty much same outfield lineup for Craig Counsell. Herrera at third. Segura and Jeanette up the middle. Adam Lind at first. And with Jonathan Lucroy still experiencing concussion symptoms, he's out. And Martin Maldonado behind home plate.
Now Ryan Braun, as we mentioned in our open, having a great month of August and into September. Had a terrific road trip. Hit .417 on the road trip. Had a home run, 5 runs batted in. Stephen Piscotty in a swing and a high fly ball that is hooking foul. Hit a mile high.
Wow.
This is one of the guys the Cardinals have called a bit of a team savior right now. They had a lot of injuries. They lost Adams, who's back tonight. They lost Matt Holliday, who is available tonight for the first time. Adams is in the starting lineup. And they've just had a lot of injuries here and there. John Jay missed a significant chunk of time with a wrist injury. And here is Stephen Piscotty, 24 years of age. Played his college ball at Stanford, and he's given them a nice shot.
Seemed to be able to, bring them up one after the other to the Cardinals. A good minor league organization. Randall Grichuk is having some problems with his elbow.
Broken bat, a roller over to Segura, and good strong arm gets Piscotty for out number 2.
Yeah, but the offense for the Cardinals has been suspect pretty much all year for a lot of the reasons that you were talking about. A lot of injuries. Guys on the disabled list. When you lose Matt Holliday and Matt Adams for extended periods of time, your offense is going to suffer. They're 12th in the league in runs scored. They're in first place and have the best record in baseball because of their pitching.
Now the Cardinals come in with a record of 89-54 ahead of the Pirates. There you see Matt Holliday, who is available tonight, activated from the disabled list after he ran the bases. He was out with a quad injury as well. So the Cardinals have Jason Hayward hitting third. He's hit up and down this order. Thought he might be a leadoff hitter for him, but he hits third in this particular batting order.
And he has been all over the batting order this year, having a nice season, hitting over .290.
On base percentage of .352, and he rips that one into right center field. Long run. Braun can't get there. That's going to one hop out, and a grounds rule double for Jason Hayward.
Yeah, didn't quite get it on the sweet spot. Finally, he got it down on the handle just enough to keep it in the ballpark. Let's see where he gets it. Actually out on the end, not on the handle, but out on the end. It just didn't have that sound to it, but hit it hard enough to one hop it over the wall out in right center. Seems to be pulling the ball a little bit more than he was early in the year.
Double number 31 on the season for Jason Hayward. Puts him in the top 10 in the league in that category. So Pena with a 2-out base hit allowed. Here's Johnny Peralta now, the St. Louis shortstop. Peralta has really struggled recently. Just 8 hits in his last 53 at bats, and his batting average down to .273. He's a free swinger, but he's a free swinger that will take his walks as well. Got a .331 on base percentage. Usually likes to jump on you early in the count.
Yeah, you can see the numbers right there. Even August not very good, but it's kind of, he's kind of the poster child for what's going on with the Cardinals. Maybe some of these guys hitting the wall. Mark Reynolds and Brandon Moss, Peralta. And you combine the injuries and an offense that already was not very good, hasn't been able to score many runs.
Pena deals and a ground ball, gloved at third base. Herrera, what a play, throw to first. How about it? Elian Herrera not only saves a run but gets an out. Beautiful play at third base. Elian Herrera into the spotlight early. By Elian Herrera, saved a run. Now the Brewers will come up for the first time, and Craig Counsell has put together this batting order tonight courtesy of Potawatomi. Scooter Gennett will lead off, then Herrera. Ryan Braun hits third. Middle of the order is Lynn, Davis, and Santana, with Segura, Maldonado, and Pena rounding it out. And that is Carlos Martinez. This will be his 27th start of the year. He's won 13 games. The numbers look really good.
Yeah.
But Rock, his last 8 games, he's only been able to pitch past the 5th inning once in his last 8.
And he's won 2 of 3, but really hadn't pitched all that well. 10 earned runs in 16 and 1/3 innings. He did get a win his last time out against the Cubs.
Gennett leads away for the Crew.
And not a guy that has been eating up innings all that well. Carlos Martinez, hard thrower. Cruising speed for Martinez about 94. He can get up there at about 97.
And Gennett is late, fouls it away. Now Martinez beat the Brewers back on April 24th. That was his 3rd win of the year. He was out of the gates very quickly for the Cardinals this season.
There's a 3-0 win. I know for Martinez in that start. 1-1 in 2 starts against Milwaukee. He's made 11 relief appearances against Milwaukee.
And Gennett tops one over to first base. First action for Matt Adams. Cardinals are glad to get the big man back after a quad injury that required surgery. So you get Adams and Holiday back on the same day. That's not a bad September, couple of September call-ups right there.
Yeah. Well, they were expecting Adams to have missed the season. I mean, it kind of surprised everybody. He's back in about 4 months, 3 months after surgery. Big bat that they get back.
Here's Elian Herrera after that sparkling play in the top of the first. Herrera has been playing well. He has played a lot. He's in a platoon over at third base, and he'll play against a right-handed pitcher. He'll play third now against a left-handed starting pitcher. He is in a second base platoon with Scooter Gennett, so that means he's out there just about every day.
Nice to be a switch hitter.
Now this is his best side. Herrera prefers hitting left-handed. He's got more power as a left-handed hitter. And he he chases one. Martinez with that nasty slider struck him out.
Now let's check out the Menards Cardinals defense. They have not had a very good year defensively. 11th in the National League. They've committed 88 errors this year for Scotty J and Hayward in the outfield. That's some pretty good range out there. You got Carpenter, Peralta, Colton Wong, who has 16 errors at second base. Matt Adams back, and the Platinum Gold Glove winner, Yadier Molina, behind home plate.
Adams in just his 47th game of the season. And Ryan Braun chases one upstairs. Well, let's see if Ryan can stay hot. He has certainly put himself in a position to hit 300 this year. He's going to need a great finish. But boy, when you consider where he came from. And that's ripped into right field. He just keeps on hitting. Braun is locked in the pocket right now.
Yeah, he is, and it's impressive. Talked about him when we came on the air tonight. You know, a lot of stars, teams out of contention, particularly guys that have long-term deals, might shut it down in situations like this. But Braun, a lot of pride in what he does out there. He's been out there every day and just drives that one into the opposite field. That's what he does. A lot of his hits have come in that direction.
A very balanced spray chart. You see all those hits to center field and right field. And just tremendous power that way as well. That's where a lot of his home runs go. He's hit 25 of them this year. That's a 2-out single to put him at first for Adam Lind. And Martinez has the gas going early. He's hit 98 miles an hour already.
And one of the reasons why he might not be able to eat up too many innings. I mean, not a guy that goes past the 5th inning all that often, as you mentioned, only 3 times in his last 8 starts. It takes a lot out of you throwing that hard.
Yeah, max effort every time out. Swing and a miss. Lind is 0-2 now. There was a lot of talk when Martinez first came up, wondering if he would be able to make the transition to a big league starting pitcher. They always felt like he was going to be great in the bullpen for him if that's where they decided to go with it. But he's been a starter, and he's been a good one this year as he makes a play on Adam Lind to retire the side. To the second we go. Cardinals coming up, no score.
And the Cardinals, top of the second here at Miller Park in this series opener. And Jonathan Lucroy remains sidelined by the concussion that has had him out since Tuesday after taking a foul tip in Miami. And Lucroy said the concussion symptoms still persist. He was able to get out onto the field today, stretch, throw on the field, something that he had only done in the cage. And he said that one of the things that he did over the weekend was actually reach out to Cardinals manager Mike Matheny, who advised him to take his time with the recovery. Matheny has had a history of concussions from his time as a player, and stressed that do not come back until you feel physically and mentally ready. He said it is not worth the repeated hits or any further injury. So it was Matheny who advised that he visit Dr. Mickey Collins in Pittsburgh. And Lucroy said that the chat with Matheny was very reassuring, and he's still hopeful he can come back to play, but is going to take Matheny's advice to heart for now.
Yeah, and it's good advice as Adams pops that one foul.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, it's not just what he's experiencing right now. You go back there behind home plate, get another foul tip, and that's what happened to Mike Matheny. Multiple foul tips, and you know that's a lot to handle in a short period of time. And there's really no reason to risk it at this point for Jonathan Lucroy. Got to make sure he's right for next year. Not just next year. I mean, the rest of his life, for that matter.
Right.
Serious stuff.
Yeah, that's what Matheny was talking about before the game today, that it does, aside from the concussion, you know, it's the after effects and what it does to you mentally. And he certainly went through that. His story is incredible, really, how he was able to battle his way through that. But he did not have the kind of treatment protocol that they do now. He wished he did when he was a player. He said a lot of what players in his era, and Rock, you can speak to this as well, but a lot of the times it was those collisions at home plate. As they say, Adams swings, unable to check his swing, and that'll be the first out of the second inning.
Yeah, a lot of, catchers go through a lot. I mean, that's not just a foul tip. Sometimes, guys swing, hit you on the back of the head, even with a helmet. That's going to create problems for you. Collisions at home plate, which are pretty much self-inflicted on catchers. I mean, they're not forced to block home plate. Matheny, one of the toughest guys that I've ever been around. I mean, he's going to block home plate because back in those days, that's what you did. But he's fine now, and good for him.
Yeah, and you appreciate Lucroy reaching out to him. And Pittsburgh is the leading concussion clinic in the world, and there's great studies going on there, and it's not just about treating the concussions, but on the preventative side as well, and trying to come up with better equipment. I'm not sure where that would end up, but they have all kinds of testing and in all different sports too. Football is obviously a big part of what they do in that Pittsburgh clinic at the University of Pittsburgh at the medical center, and so heavily involved with the Steelers and the university there as well. What Pena going up the ladder with a fastball, and Yadier Molina in a 2-2 count couldn't quite catch up to it.
Yeah, very, very slow bat right now for Molina.
Ariel Pena, and a bouncing ball. Scooter Gennett for the second out.
I was talking to Jonathan about that meeting that he had and the appointment that he had, and it was interesting in that, I assumed that, what they would tell him, just take it easy, don't do a whole lot. He said, that's not what they want me to do. They want me to do these brain exercises, challenge yourself, go through some, puzzles and things like that, just kind of get your brain going a little bit. And that kind of surprised me. I thought it would be just the opposite. Just take it easy, lay low, don't do a whole lot, but it's just the opposite.
Stimulate the brain, right? That's a good one. There's no real reason to bring Lucroy back anytime soon unless he's just 100%. Brewers aren't playing for anything. Lucroy can prepare for next season. I know he wants to come back, though, just for his own sanity. Colton Wong got jammed, and that's an impressive 3-up, 3-down inning for Ariel Pena. Brewers are coming up. No score at Miller Park.
gas.
They may charge you 10% extra for that. Don't do that.
Hey, the Brewers home can continues the rest of this week with 2 more games against the Cardinals tomorrow and Thursday night. Then the Reds come to town this Friday through Sunday for Fan Appreciation Weekend in Miller Park. Call 414-902-4000 to go to Brewers.com for tickets.
Here we go to the bottom of the second inning, and Chris Davis will lead off against hard-throwing Carlos Martinez. Davis coming in with 20 homers.
That's going to be an important pitch for Carlos Martinez right there. The slider. It's been a very inconsistent pitch for him this year. He's always got the fastball. The changeup's a good pitch, but there are times when the slider doesn't do much. We'll have to keep an eye on that pitch early on tonight.
1 ball, 1 strike. And that ball's in the air. Right field. Hayward plays deep anyway and actually has to come in a few steps.
They all play deep out there. You've been checking them out. That is deep in outfield that you'll see. John Jay's out there deep with Scotty in left.
And it's not because of the skill level of the outfielders. You know, that's one thing you can do with an outfielder who maybe not comfortable in a specific spot, like Domingo Santana, who bats now for the Brewers, but he's not real comfortable in center field, so they play him very deep. But that's not the case with the Cardinals outfielders. Jason Hayward is as accomplished of an outfielder as there is in the major leagues. Cardinals' philosophy is to take away slugging percentage, though. Try to take those extra bases away.
Yeah, make the Brewers score a run on 3 singles, right? As opposed to 2 doubles. But they are very deep out there. A lot of room in front of them.
Domingo Santana continues to get run in the starting lineup as the center fielder. He's hit 5 homers as a Brewer. Hit a couple of home runs with the Houston Astros earlier this season, but spent most of the year in the minor leagues. And down he goes. Martinez off to a fast start. That's a second strikeout.
99 miles an hour on that last fastball. Yeah. And maybe one of the reasons why, as you mentioned, they can't go 7 innings. I mean, can't be throwing that hard throughout the night.
Very few can. Maybe Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson.
Right.
But I think even their cruising speed was 96 or 7, wasn't it?
Right.
Gene Segura. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning.
And the one thing he does do, he works quickly. He doesn't mess around. At least when there's nobody on base.
Made an all-star team this year, did Martinez. First time all-star. Made just 1 start his first year. They brought him up. He was very good for the Cardinals as they went into the postseason. And he was a big part of their bullpen in the postseason. Pitched in the World Series. And he is on his game early. Just that 1 hit by Ryan Braun. Back-to-back Ks to end the inning.
The game winner, Bernie's Pub and Grill in Elkhorn, if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. They get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April or May 2016 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
It's good to be back at Miller Park. Field looks great. Cardinals in town, starting a 6-game homestand for Milwaukee. You got the Cardinals and the Reds, and then the Brewers will go on the road. They'll see these same Cardinals next week after opening up the road trip in Chicago. Then it's off to St. Louis and then San Diego. And then the last 3 games on the home schedule, last 3 games of the year against the Chicago Cubs. And they'll close it up and call it a season. Ariel Pena to John Jay, hit hard, center field, Santana right there. Roundabout way to get it, but he's got it. And 1 away in the 3rd inning.
It's nice to be 6'5". You can make up for maybe getting a bad jump or misjudging it. John Jay hits him right on the nose, and he needed every bit of 6'5" to haul that one in. No style points. We don't get any anyway.
And Ariel Pena facing the pitcher now, Carlos Martinez, surrendering just 1 hit. That was a double off the bat of Jason Hayward. Martinez has 7 hits this year, 7 in 57 plate appearances. Those 7 hits. It's a 140 batting average for him. And that'll be a good pitch against Martinez. Give him a little taste of his own medicine tonight.
Yeah. Good slider.
Got another one.
And basically, 2-pitch pitcher is Ariel Pena. You know, the fastball. He will 2-seam it. He'll cut it a little bit. Kind of 2 different, breaking pitches. One looks more like a curveball at times. And then that slider.
Well, it's been a long road to the big leagues for Ariel Pena. Nevin Ashley getting a lot of the headlines for the Brewers, rightly so. He spent 10 years in the minor leagues before he made it. Well, Pena has been in the minor leagues for 9 years. Difference being Ariel's still only 26 years of age. And this is just his 3rd game. His first game resulted in a victory. That was out of the bullpen after a long rain delay in Cincinnati. Got the win that night against the Reds. And then he made a start against the Marlins.
And control problems against Miami. 4 walks. He only gave up 3 hits. 2 runs in 5 innings.
2-2 pitch. Hit hard into left center field. That's going to get through and all the way to the wall. Off the wall. And Carlos Martinez, the Cardinal pitcher, with a double with 1 away here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, that ball was smoked. Wow. Fastball down. He laid off a couple of good sliders and gets this one out over the plate down, and Martinez puts a charge into that one, hits the base of the wall, and he was running pretty well. And we're a pitcher on that swing.
That's his 2nd double. He's got 8 hits this year. 2 of them are for doubles. And now the Cardinals are set up with the top of their order coming up. Here's Matt Carpenter, who lined out to Braun in the 1st inning. Ariel Pena came to the Brewers in the Zach Greinke deal. That was during the 2012 season. Came to Milwaukee with Gene Segura and Johnny Hellwig. Hellwig is coming back from Tommy John surgery. Got back on the field. Got back to pitching this year on an active roster. So hopefully he'll get his career jump started once again. Pena was a starter with the Angels, got to the upper levels with the Angels, moved into a reliever's role. And that's how the Brewers have him pegged at this point, although he is making his 2nd start. I think the Brewers just want to try to see some innings out of Pena. Maybe he could push his way into that rotation.
He's going to need to come up with a consistent third pitch. And pitched predominantly out of the bullpen until his last 7 appearances, all starts. He was 1-1 as a starter. And a real good earned run average, 2.37.
Yeah, and that's saying something in Colorado Springs, which is an extremely difficult place to pitch. Hitter friendly. Wind blows out just about every night. High altitude. He was a starter all last year with Nashville, was Pena. And had an ERA at 4.84. So this year the Brewers moved him into the bullpen at AAA before he ended up starting games, and here he is in the big leagues. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out Matt Carpenter.
Made him look bad on that pitch. That was a good slider. That was a pitch that he was trying to get Carlos Martinez to bite on. Look at it go down and in. Perfect. It's exactly where you want it to a left-handed hitter. And Carpenter coming up empty, so at least early on, Pena's going to have the advantage. And we'll see how the rest of the lineup for the Cardinals does second time through.
Here's Stephen Piscotty. Martinez the runner at second. He can run a little bit, especially for a pitcher. And Piscotty, did he go? No, he did not. Cardinals lost Matt Holliday, and Randall Grichuk is playing very well, giving him a lot of contributions. And then Grichuk hurt his elbow. He's got ligament damage in his elbow. And that opened the door for Piscotty. And he's just taking the ball. Whoever ends up in that spot has swung the bat well and been a major contributor.
Cardinals have a way of doing that, don't they? Whether it's position players or pitchers.
Piscotty drafted as a third baseman. Cardinals moved him to the outfield.
That's
and
a good.
There's a strike.
That's a nice slider. That's the best one he's thrown. Not a big break, but very late, quick. Hitter has a difficult time picking it up.
And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Piscotty. Piscotty had a big hit last week. Cardinals were looking like they were going to be swept by the Cubs. Piscotty had a big hit late against Chicago that proved to be the game winner. Gave him a 4-3 lead. So he's already had a few moments here with St. Louis. Just his 50th game in the major leagues.
And he's got 30 RBIs. Pretty good.
In 49 games prior to this one, 13 doubles, 4 triples, 4 homers. An OPS over 880. And just getting started. Martinez with a 1-out double. Pena has Piscotty in a 2-2 count. Stays alive. Story on Piscotty is he was so concerned about his big league future. Maybe disgruntled is too harsh of a word, but did not get a call up last year. He went back to Stanford and got an engineering degree. Just in case, nice to have a degree.
Right.
Finished up his
engineering, not a bad fallback.
His studies, and there was a position change. Down he goes. Piscotty strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Pena with a runner at second base. He's got 3 scoreless on the board. Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. No score, bottom third here at Miller Park, Milwaukee. Cardinals, Brewers tonight. It's now time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WishDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Martin Maldonado will lead off for the Brew Crew. Jonathan Lucroy has surfaced from the clubhouse. There with the strength coach Josh Seligman. Lucroy still experiencing concussion symptoms, so unavailable to play. And that means Martin Maldonado and Nevin Ashley have been sharing the catching duties.
Always seems to happen with Lucroy when he starts to swing the bat well, right? And he was starting to get that average up, heading north, and then he got the foul tip. I'm not sure I've ever seen a catcher get hit by more foul tips, foul balls than Jonathan Lucroy. And that one got him good, right on the chin.
Maldonado will embrace the playing time while he can get it. Lucroy is one of those catchers. He's a lot like Yadier Molina, and I think probably inspired somewhat by Molina, who tries to catch every day, and you can't do that throughout the long season, but utilize off days. Lucroy occasionally playing first base, but for the most part this year he's been behind the plate. And remember, he lost 38 games with that broken toe earlier this season, so I'm sure Lucroy's ready for the finish line on this year. Get ready for next season. Hopefully it's a healthy, productive year for him. It's been impressive how he's been able to raise his batting average, so he's really been a hot hitter for an extended period of time now for Milwaukee.
100 right there. He's got a lot of years ahead of him, Jonathan Lucroy. You wonder about Molina, how many more years he has catching every single day. 133 games now for him. That's a lot of work.
That one missed outside. Maldonado and Molina are very close. Maldonado is close with all the Molina brothers, the Puerto Rican catching connection that they share. And Maldonado in many ways patterns his game after Yadier Molina, even down to the mask that he wears. There's a called strike three. Came right back with the slider, and Maldonado is out. That is 3 consecutive strikeouts and the 4th overall for Martinez.
Yeah, we were told to keep an eye on the slider. If he doesn't have it, he's usually in for a long day out there. He's got to have that pitch, but it's been a good pitch for him. He hasn't made a mistake with it. He's got a good break on it. And for the most part, he's been able to work ahead in the count.
Here's Ariel Pena.
Haven't seen too many change-ups from Martinez yet. Really hasn't needed it yet.
Pena's trying to get off the bus, the strikeout bus. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts for him already, and he looks like he's ready for another one. So Molina thought it were with 3 outs. He takes off.
Yeah. 3 outs in this league.
He'll catch a little heat for that. 4 consecutive strikeouts. And look at Yadier. See, 2, fellas, 2. Now, when you catch as many innings as Yadier Molina does, you try to end those as soon as possible.
Yeah, that Maldonado at bat seemed like a 2-batter at bat.
So 2 men are out. Top of the order. Here is Scooter Gennett. And that slider
good
has been on point for Martinez. That's the slower version, the get-over version. That's at 84 miles an hour. And then he's got the wipeout slider. That's more like 86, 87. A roller out to Wong, and that'll do it. Gennett is retired. 3 up and 3 down, and that's 7 straight for Martinez.
gets back to work in his Miller Park debut after making his Major League debut on the road trip. And pitching coach Rick Kranitz was pleased with what he saw from Pena in his first start against Miami. It was 5 innings of 2-run ball, got the no decision there, but said he showed a lot of confidence, more poise than his debut coming out of the bullpen, and said that the slider was really the difference for him in that inning, especially getting it late in counts. And he said in terms of his stuff matching up against the Cardinals, he said you really can't get predictable against this lineup. He said if you get behind, there's a good chance they're going to be sitting fastball. So he's going to be relying on that slider and sinker to help him get through this outing.
Yeah, which means he's going to have to rely on occasion on that slider when he is down in the count, when you normally would try to get a fastball over to get back in the count. And Pena knows this is a big opportunity for him. Brewers really didn't have it earmarked that he would come up and make a few starts. I think the Brewers have maybe a few more call-ups from that Double-A team that's still playing. They start their Southern League Finals tomorrow, the Biloxi Shuckers. And I know there are a few players Craig Counsell was saying that he'd like to get a look at. Not sure if they're going to bring them up or not, but we'd certainly see a number of those guys next spring.
Yep.
If they don't make it to the big leagues. I guess it all depends on how that series goes. It's a best of 5.
Well, there's going to be a couple of guys, I think, or we were told perhaps you might see a couple of guys. Who they are, we don't know. There's that good slider, just misses.
Man, not by much.
Yeah.
So Pena's going to take this opportunity, and he's hoping to pitch well and open up some eyes and give himself a shot at the big league roster next season. And that's really what it's all about for so many of these guys on the Brewers roster right now.
Well, he wouldn't be making starts if Matt Garza was still in the rotation. Garza pulled from rotation and needed somebody. Pena was the guy. They thought maybe he might get an opportunity. That's why they had him start down in the minors. His last 7 appearances were all starts down in AAA, maybe grooming him for this opportunity.
Here's Johnny Peralta after a leadoff walk to Hayward. First inning, runner at second. Check this play out. Elian Herrera, a run saver, and gets the out. Perfect throw across the diamond to get the slow running Peralta. Play of the night so far. And it was right out of the gates that ended the first inning. Pena, when he's right, will get a lot of ground balls. As Sophia was mentioning, he's a sinker slider pitcher. And so when he's on his game, he's got a chance to get out of a few jams like these with double play balls. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check on Hayward. Cardinals don't do a whole lot of running, but Hayward is one player that will. He has 21 stolen bases. The next closest to him is Peter Borges, who has 5. Now, he's not even an everyday player. This is the combination that Matheny likes to use if he's going to put some of the running game in. There's a liner foul. I beg your pardon. Colton Wong has 15. Missed that one.
He gets thrown out a lot too, though. I mean, he gets thrown out. He's been thrown out 8 times, has Wong, in 23 stolen base opportunities.
Well, those are the 2 base stealers. Maldonado's got a great arm behind the plate. And Pena checks on him again.
And you know, with Yadier Molina watching him, he's going to try and put his best foot forward when men are on base. Wants to impress the teacher.
Yeah, the feathers are up.
Yeah.
For Maldonado. Lead runner on via a walk. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Johnny Peralta. Pena, 26 years of age, out of the Dominican Republic. Pitches in winter ball just about every year. He's logged a lot of innings in his young life. There goes Hayward. Pitches low. Throw to second. The tag. Safe.
Missed him.
Jeanette missed him.
Well, what a throw by Maldonado. That was right on the money. Well, pretty good slide by Jason Hayward. Spread the arms apart. And really, Jeanette did all he could. You catch the baseball, you drop the glove on the base. And just a little bit too late. Let's see if Craig Counsell wants to maybe challenge it, but I don't think he ever touched him.
Now, the days of
It's a good call.
Of tagging and showing the umpire is ending quickly. And most middle infielders now are keeping the tag on the base runner because of the replay age. Most base runners, if they're sliding like that, they're going to come off the bag at some point. So guys are being taught not to pop the tag and show the umpire the ball. That'll all be settled in replay.
Yeah, stay with the tag. That's what you have to do.
I mean, forever before replay, you had to sell the out. You know, if it was a bang-bang play, you tag and you show him the umpire.
Well, most of the time, if the ball beat the runner, he's going to be out. I mean, that's the way it used to be.
But it's different now. And Peralta rolls one to short. Segura's only play is first. And so a stolen base and a ground ball out has the Cardinals with a runner at third and one away for Matt Adams.
But I mean, can you make a better throw than that? The one that Maldonado just threw? I mean, that was perfect. Straight as a string, right on the bag, and should have had the out. That's going to go as a stolen base against Maldonado.
It's not right.
Not right.
That's about as fast as you can get a ball. They call it pop to pop. The pop of the catcher's mitt to the pop of the infielder's glove. It's about as fast as you can do it.
Yep.
When Maldonado throws it like that, I would guess around 1.8 seconds, 1.9 seconds, something like that.
Average is about 2 seconds. Big league catchers on average get it from glove to glove in about 2 seconds. That had to be 1.8.
I'm always interested and fascinated by Maldonado and the size of his catcher's glove. He uses an extremely small glove, which really helps him when you're trying to throw the ball. There's not much surface area to go dig that ball out of.
Right.
And he's got such great hands behind the plate. Frames it well, blocks it well. He's an excellent backup catcher.
And he went for it. You know, slider on a 2-0 pitch. Worst thing in the world is not to walk Adams here. He set up the double play. Nadia Molina does not run well.
Now that was a perfect example of what Sophia reported from Rick Kranitz. He's got to be confident in his slider when he's down in the count. That was a 2-0 slider. So now it's 2-1. The infield creeps in, and Adams doesn't chase this one. Fastball low. 3-1. Cardinals threatening. First time there's been a runner at third base for either team in the game. And that's ball 4. That's not a killer that you walk Matt Adams, although he has been on the disabled list and hasn't swung the bat much.
Still a threat,
especially with a runner at third and one out.
Well, you got two very slow guys right now at first and at home plate, so you have a good opportunity to get the ball on the ground, but you got to get ahead in the count.
Yadier Molina. Oh, he's an excellent contact hitter, opposite field hitter in spots like this, but he's also a prime double play candidate as well.
16 of them this year.
Likes that first pitch. And he swings and misses. He cut right through it. Well, St. Louis fans don't want to hear it, but as great as Molina has been, as great as he is, and he's certainly one of the best players and most important players that the Cardinals have. I think Buster Posey has overtaken him as the game's best catcher when you combine He's not the defender that Molina is, but the offense.
Yeah, overall, I would agree.
Far and away better. The power, slugging percentage, the OPS, the batting average. Posey's having another great year in San Francisco. Matter of fact, Posey has a chance still to win a batting title. He's hitting .327. Bryce Harper leads the league at .333. Oh, 2 pitch. 1-2 the count. That doesn't discount what Molina does for the Cardinals by any means.
Molina's only 33 years old too, but when you consider how many games this guy's caught, that's a lot of wear and tear, a lot of mileage.
And he lost a lot of weight this offseason. He came to camp about 20-25 pounds lighter this year. Still looks a little strange on him. And a swing and a miss. Pena came right back to the fastball, and Molina strikes out. So a contact hitter typically punches out.
Yeah, they say that Cardinals, maybe some of these guys have hit the wall. You can see how slow that bat is right there from Molina. A little bit of an uppercut, something you really don't see from him a whole lot. You don't hit the right field with a swing like that normally. It's more on top.
So 2 outs, still a runner at third, along with Adams at first after a couple of walks. And here is Colton Wong, who got jammed, had a little pop up his first at bat.
They blew the fastballs right by Yadier Molina, and Pena's only throwing 93. Not like it's Carlos Martinez upper 90s.
Back inside, and Maldonado's on his way out. Have a chat with his pitcher.
Got to get ahead in the count, especially with men on base. Well, now if you're Wong, you're thinking, he's got to be throwing me a fastball here, but he didn't do it to Adams, did he? He threw a slider on a 2-0 pitch. Adams chased it.
Well, we'll see what he does here. Well, with a fastball, he missed with it. Now it's 3-0. Got John Jay on deck. Wonder if Wong has a green light in a spot like this. Nope, takes it. Ball 4. Bases loaded. 3 walks in the inning. And Pena talking to himself.
Kind of got him in trouble against the Marlins. The walks, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts in 5 innings. He's got good stuff, but he's got to be able to get ahead in the count, especially in the big leagues. Well, he gave up 3 hits to the Marlins. And nowhere to put John Jay.
Jay just coming back from a wrist injury. Back in the lineup on the 6th of September, so he's had a little over a week of activity. Hand injuries, wrist injuries, those are tough to come back from for position players. Got the bases loaded. The 0-1 pitch. And that missed inside. Not by much. Maldonado is making those look awfully good.
He wants them. They look like good pitches.
Sticking the landing. But the home plate umpire, Mike Winter's not buying it tonight. And Fox Tracks had it inside. Ground ball right to Lind. He'll take it himself, and Pena is out of the inning. Walk 3, left them all out there. Still scoreless. You know you're in the big leagues when your series is on the bases. Every series is like that. Carsoup.com trivia: which members of the Cardinals coaching staff also played for the Brewers? That's a good question.
That is.
Check the St. Louis Cardinal roster. Here's Elian Herrera facing Martinez. I assume they're not talking about the manager, Mike Feeney, right?
Right, he's a given.
That's a no-brainer. Remember the coaching staff. Herrera's made a nice play defensively tonight. Saved a run in the first inning. He was a strikeout victim in the first, however. The first K for Martinez, who has now racked up 5 and had 4 in a row at one point. Last 4 hitters in the Brewers lineup all struck out across the second and the third inning. Into left field, Piscotty got a late jump and he makes the catch. What a play. Stephen Piscotty made up for it. He got a slow start, but that 6'3" frame and able to pull it in.
And I thought that was extra bases off the bat. One of the few guys that the Cardinals don't play real deep. Piscotty having to go back and perfectly times his leap and hauls it in. That's about where they've been playing while the pitcher's on his way to home plate, that deep, and not for Herrera and not in left field. And Piscotty robs him of a double at least.
Not bad for an infielder turned outfielder. Martinez appreciates that effort. Here's Ryan Braun now. Takes a strike. Braun has the Brewers' only hit. That was a single to right field in the first inning. Hit a line drive out there. It shatters his bat foul. That's too bad. That's been a good bat for Braun. That's done some heavy lifting in the month of September. Braun has 25 home runs. Had a home run on the road trip. He leads the Powerball home run leaderboard. Davis with 20, and there's Lynn with 19.
There's more where that came from. He's going to go get another one. All his wood is very good. It's not pro stock.
That's MVP wood right there. Save the best for the big boys. Now, after play on July 31st, Braun was hitting .263 with 19 home runs and 63 runs batted in. And since that time, since August 1st, he's been able to raise his batting average from .263 to .290. And since August 1st, he has 6 homers and 21 runs batted in. He had .326 in August. He's hitting .404 in the month of September. And down he goes. Martinez strikes him out. Number 6 for Carlos Martinez.
Yeah, most of these guys in the big leagues are self-motivators, or you really don't get to the major leagues, let alone being an MVP and one of the league's best. It really doesn't matter, you know, for Braun, you know, where the team is, whether they're in contention or not. The fact is he's healthy. And once again showing he's still one of the game's best hitters.
Braun the second out here in the 4th inning. Here's Adam Lind.
Self-motivators and have a lot of pride in yourself. He set the the bar very high early in his career, and he's trying to accomplish that again.
I might see a few changeups here to Adam Lind. Brewers will have 3 lefties in the lineup. You get the 2 lefties and the switch hitter. And that's where you see most of the changeups from Martinez. That was a slider in there for a strike.
I'm not sure how many he's thrown yet today. Hasn't needed it.
Save it for when you need it. That's one of the charms of a Yadier Molina.
Keep it in the back pocket. Get yourself in trouble. Get a left-hander up.
You can just see in the rhythm and the pace that Martinez has. He doesn't shake off. Whatever Molina puts down, he just throws. Molina has been able to do that for a number of pitchers throughout his career. He takes that part of the game out of it for him.
There's a changeup right there. 88 miles an hour.
Two balls, two strikes. And Lind into center field off the end of the bat, right to John Jay, and that will retire the side. So Martinez through 4 innings, only 1 hit so far.
And in our Crew in the Community tonight on Sunday, September 13th, the Brewers Community Foundation helped the Greater Milwaukee Foundation celebrate their 100th birthday. Thousands of fans took advantage of an all-access day right here at Miller Park by visiting the dugout, the visitors clubhouse, media interview room, broadcast booth, the ceiling experience, and more. They also got to watch the away game on the scoreboard. So they've offered monthly opportunities for the community to enjoy gems and all kinds of one-of-a-kind experiences. And we wish them a happy 100th birthday.
All right. Well done, Sophia. Thanks for sharing that. Ariel Pena back on the mound in a scoreless game. 5th inning now. Martinez, the Cardinal pitcher, at the plate. He had a double his last time up. Cardinals have 2 hits, 2 doubles. Martinez and Jason Hayward. Pena just pitched out of a bases loaded jam in the 4th. He walked all 3 batters on base and was able to get John Jay to end it. He's swinging a miss. Martinez is feeling frisky at the plate now after his double last time up.
I don't think he's going to be able to center on a big fastball up in the zone. Down in the zone, a little easier to get to. I think if Pena is able to go through this inning and next, I think Craig Counsell would be very pleased.
Yep, I think you're right. That was somewhat the plan in his last start, which was his first big league start. There's a ground ball. Segura lays out to his feet, throw to first in time.
That guy can get down the line too. How about Gene Segura? Carlos Martinez hit that one right on the nose. He could be very easily 2 for 2 tonight. Another fastball down, and look at Segura. Look how quickly he gets up. You can't get up off the ground any quicker than that. That's certainly one of the nicest plays that Segura's made in a while. Columbia St. Mary's worth another look, you bet. Quick on his feet and a good throw to first.
Heck of a play. Brewers are shining with the leather tonight. That left side of the infield, both have a couple of gems tonight, and Herrera and now Segura.
Normally when you have a pitcher up, you make a play like that, you have time to get up and make an easy throw, but not with Martinez running.
Yeah, good for Segura that he knew that. Martinez does run well. He is used occasionally as, and has been, as a pinch hitter throughout his career. You don't need him in September, but that's an option for Mike Matheny. Top of the order, Matt Carpenter. 0 for 2 tonight. A line out and a strikeout. The strikeout was with a runner at second base and 1 out. That was a key moment for Pena. Cardinals have stranded a runner in scoring position in 3 of the first 4 innings. Left Hayward in the first, stranded Martinez in the third, and then left the bases loaded last inning. Carpenter, high fly ball slicing out to Davis for out number 2.
They almost have to do a double take when you see Matt Carpenter's batting average in the 250s.
That's not the kind of hitter he's been.
No, it's not at all.
Has been a hits leader in the National League in his career. As Piscotty takes a strike. Carpenter is a career 285 hitter. But his last 2 years, he's steadily slipped. Ever since that year he hit 300 back in 13. That was the year he led both leagues in hits. Hit in the 270s last year, and he's in the 260s this season. Oh, and 2 the count on Piscotty. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And maybe sacrificing a little batting average for a little power, realizing that his team needs a little bit more run production. Wouldn't be the first guy to do that.
Well, especially with the big bats out of the lineup as they were. Slow roller foul.
And trying to make up for Adams being out and Matt Holliday, thinking he's got to drive the ball a little bit. You forego a little bit of batting average when you do that.
No, and it's worked too. He's hit 21 homers this year. He had never hit more than 11 in a big league season. So by far and away his career best. Carpenter's just one of those guys, though, and as they get into this late stretch of the pennant race and into the postseason, he's as tough of an out as there is. A swing and a miss. Pena strikes him out with a slider. Maldonado blocked it. And Pena has a nice inning. 1, 2, 3.
Miller Park, and is part of Fan Appreciation Weekend. All fans at Miller Park this Friday night with the Brewers showdown with the Reds. We'll get a scratch-off card containing prizes such as free 2016 tickets, autographed memorabilia, A team store shopping spree and more. For details, go to brewers.com/fan appreciation.
Cardinals and Reds, and the last matchup with the Cincinnati Reds, but the Brewers are going to see the Cardinals one more time in St. Louis.
4-game series.
That'll cover next weekend. Chris Davis starts it. He takes strike one from Carlos Martinez, who has been great tonight.
1 over the minimum so far. That's pretty good.
He gave up a 2-out single to Braun in the first inning. That's been it. He's retired 10 in a row. Well, Davis, after that big month of August, got loose in Pittsburgh as well. He hit a couple of home runs in Pittsburgh. They're now 20 on the Powerball home run count this year. Both of those home runs he hit in Pittsburgh were to straightaway center. We were wondering how fast Carlos Martinez got down the line on that play by Segura last inning. 4.05.
Wow.
From the right side. That is getting it.
That's good for anybody. Not just a pitcher.
In the air, center field. Did he get that one? Davis sending Jay back, and there she goes. Chris Davis with a home run, and the Brewers strike first.
Well, he's something, isn't he? Center field power for Chris Davis. Last 3 home runs have come to dead center. A big mistake that time on an 0-2 pitch. Boom. Center field, 1-0 Brewers.
What a powerful swing he has. 1-0 Crew. Number 21 for Davis. 55 RBIs now for him, as Domingo Santana takes a strike.
This high, majestic home run just didn't want to come down and carries on out of here. On a 0-2 count. I mean, that's got to burn you up if you're Carlos Martinez.
Another 0-2 count, and this time it's a strikeout. Santana goes down again. That was a changeup from Martinez.
He's starting to throw a few more. Threw one to Lynn. 90 miles an hour on a changeup. Not too bad, huh? That's a lot of guys' fastballs.
He's faced 15 batters. He has 7 strikeouts. But a big run in on that Davis homer. 1-0 Crew. Here is Segura now. Our buddy Joe Block from the Brewers radio network put together an interesting statistic on Chris Davis, and looking at home run ratio, home runs per at bat. Looking at the Brewers all-time leaderboard in that category, Richie Sexson has the fewest at bats per home runs in franchise history, nearly 15. Segura bounces to second. Sexson was a home run every 14.94 at bats. So you get that, and then there's Prince Fielder. That makes sense. Carlos Lee, Jeremy Burnitz, Big Spike, Gorman Thomas, Rob Deere's on that list.
Good list. Good
then
list.
There's Chris Davis,
Yeah,
who is actually ahead of Ryan Braun for home runs per at bat currently. Now Braun is the franchise leader in homers with 255 now. Davis has hit 54 career home runs as a Brewer, and he homers about every 18 at bats or so, a little over 18 at bats. So he's 18.19, Braun's at 18.53.
not bad, huh?
Just gives you some perspective.
Right.
He's on a better home run rate per at bat than guys like Greg Vaughn and John Jaha, Jeff Jenkins, and even Bill Schroeder.
I'm on that list.
You're on the list. Ground ball to second, and that will retire the side. Brock homered every 21 at bats.
Really?
Chris Davis homers in his second at bat tonight. Number 21, and the Brewers lead it 1-0. Brewers, but Davis got him. 0-2 pitch. He hit one over the fence in center field, and the Brewers lead it 1-0. Carsoup.com trivia tonight once again. We've given you long enough, according to our producer Brad Weimer.
I think there's only 2.
Which members of the Cardinal coaching staff also played for the Brewers? Of course, Matheny did. He's the Cardinal manager. And David Bell.
1 year.
Yeah, David Bell. And there he is, moving into the frame as if he was cued. Here's Jason Hayward. He'll start it. Pena's back out there. He'll start his 6th inning.
Yeah, David Bell, the bench coach for Mike Matheny.
Son of Buddy, grandson of Gus. 3 generations of big leaguers. That one's ripped into right field. That is going to bounce off the wall. And Braun will play it into second base. Hayward's in with a double. So Hayward on base for the 3rd time tonight, his 2nd double to go along with a walk.
I remember seeing Jason Hayward swing the bat early in the season. He couldn't pull the ball if he tried. But pulled both of his doubles here tonight. One into the gap in right center. This one more down the line. And so another leadoff double for Hayward. I should say leadoff base runner for Hayward. Walked back a couple innings ago.
I don't think Hayward's heart was really in that headfirst slide. It was more of a plop down. It's kind of he was trying to avoid what he thought may have been a tag, and a long frame of Jason Hayward. So he's at second, leads off the 6th inning, tying run out there. And here's Johnny Peralta. There's a strike.
I imagine that Craig Counsell is going to get that bullpen active as we speak. Somebody's getting up in the pen. And this is all gravy time for Ariel Pena.
He's got 5 shutout on the board. Working in the 6th inning with a 1-0 lead. Peralta lines one left center. Hayward got a late start, but he's going to try to score, and he will score. And just like that, the Cardinals have tied it. That didn't take long. A double and a single. RBI for Johnny Peralta.
That was on a 0-1 pitch. Fastball down, and Peralta able to turn on it. Hayward with good speed. He takes advantage of the throwing arm out there in left field and scores the tying run. Happy about it.
And Craig Counsell is on his way out. He'll make a pitching change. So Pena gave him a good start tonight. Not a guy that they expected to go too deep in a game. They would have been ecstatic with 5 shutout. Counsell thought he could squeeze one more out of him. Not the case. So out he goes. He pitched well tonight. Good job. Ariel Pena gets a nice hand on his way out. Light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Ariel Pena had a good showing tonight. He exits in a 1-1 tie, gives up 1 run and 5+. Still has a runner at first. That's his responsibility. What a good effort tonight. He'll give the ball to Corey Knebel. The hard-throwing Texan is on to face Matt Adams. Nobody out and a runner at first.
Yeah, more strikeouts than innings pitched for Knebel. 49 strikeouts, 14 walks in 44 innings. Good earned run average, a little less than 3.5. Last pitched on Saturday against the Pirates. And had a 3-up, 3-down inning.
Well, Matt Adams, who walked his last time up, looked like Pena was working around Adams in that 4th inning. Not an intentional walk, but
pretty close.
The old unintentional intentional. He's being very careful with him in that inning. Pena stranded the bases loaded in that 4th. So he's got Adams up there now with Peralta at first base and a bouncer foul.
Barehanded by Adam Lind. How about that? Not that easy, is it, Adam? Not advisable.
He's getting a little chuckle out of that. Sometimes you make yourself laugh.
Yeah.
They'll ask if he went. He goes. They didn't ask. They just called it. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Well, I'm sure timing and rhythm at the plate can be tough to come by when you've missed as much time as Matt Adams. He's been out since late May.
And nowhere to go for rehab, right? I mean, minor league season's been over. Get some simulated games. You might get in the cage, live pitching from time to time. But, you know, with the Cardinals in a comfortable spot, you know they're going to go to the postseason. Throw them out there. Get them ready.
Well, it was a much easier proposition on Mike Matheny just 10 days ago. Had a 6.5 game lead in the Central Division. But that lead is down to 2 currently. The Pirates beat the Cubs today in the first of a doubleheader. Had a makeup game in a day-night doubleheader. Pirates and Cubs are in the 8th inning in the night game, and the Cubs have a late lead in that one. So if it all works out for the Pittsburgh Pirates in a positive way, then they could be 1 game back of St. Louis at the conclusion of play tonight. Pittsburgh is down 2-1 in the 9th now to the Cubs in the 2nd game.
How about that block? Goodness. I'm not sure that one even makes Fox tracks. Check this out. That barely made the dirt, and Maldonado able to block it. There it is, way down there.
That's more, and that's as far as the box will go. It's more like way down here by Segura's head.
Oh boy.
2-2 pitch and a hot one. Oh, it's caught. Step on the bag and a double play. And look at Lind staring into the dugout. Says, "You want me to use my glove? I'll use my glove."
Better use the glove on that one.
Heck of a play. Turns it into 2.
Let's see. Is it even a fair ball? I don't know if it's even a fair ball. He's able to get there. It is a foul ball. How many times do you see a guy be able to catch a line drive foul ball? Look how close he is to the bag. Not bouncing off the bag a whole lot. Foul ball. And tags first base for the double play. Oh, boy.
2 outs. 1 swing of the bat. Wipes out the base runner. Line drive right field. Slicing. That is foul. Molina making a bid at an extra base hit.
You know, first baseman, holds a runner off. Normally hops off as far as you can get, but not with Adams. He's a pull hitter, so you just kind of stay right there. I mean, it's a good move.
It's got to be a touch intimidating, isn't it, to be that close
with a guy like Matt Adams, a big left-handed slugger?
I can tell you it is. I've been there.
1 ball, 1 strike. And in there, strike 2. Molina struck out with 2 on in the 4th inning. A key strikeout for Pena. And an awkward looking swing. He's able to foul it off and stay alive. Cardinals got a run in this inning on an RBI single by Peralta. Drove in Hayward, who doubled to start the inning. After the Brewers got a home run from Chris Davis last inning. Down he goes. Molina strikes out. Corey Knebel gets a line drive out for a double play, then a punch out, and here we go to the bottom of the 6th. Brewers are coming up. Say next weekend, help the Brewers Community Foundation stuff the bus with winter gear for students in need of attending Milwaukee public schools. And you can bring your new or gently used hats, scarves, gloves, and mittens to the Red Series next Friday through Sunday. And all fans making a donation or contributing $5 will receive a commemorative Chris Davis pin. Plus on Sunday, look for the Fox Sports Wisconsin Fan Express to drop off your items. Details at foxsportswisconsin.com. That's the big bus, the Fan Express. Shane Peterson will pinch hit for Knebel in the pitcher spot. Knebel does a good job. He gets that line drive out in foul territory, turns into a double play, and then a strikeout of Molina. So Ariel Pena goes 5 innings plus tonight. 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 3 walks, 5 strikeouts.
He looked pretty good against everybody but Jason Hayward tonight.
Hayward on base 3 times, 2 doubles and a walk. Martinez was dominant until he ran into Chris Davis, who homered. But then he retired the next 3. 7 strikeouts through the first 5 innings for Carlos Martinez. And Peterson draws the walk.
First walk, maybe showing signs of fatigue. It's not always velocity that you look at when you try to determine whether a pitcher is getting a little bit tired. A lot of it's command, location.
Well, top of the order now. Scooter Gennett with a runner at first. The Cubs-Pirates game, the second of that doubleheader, is now going to the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Cubs have a 2-1 lead. John Lester has gone the distance thus far. 8 innings, 1 run. Pirates won the first game of that doubleheader. Little tapper, that's a fair ball. Molina's going to second, safe there, and everybody's safe.
Yeah, bad move, huh?
Well, Molina trying to make something out of nothing. He had an easy out at first. There's no chance they're going to turn a double play anyway. He was just trying to get the lead out, and it did not work.
A swinging bunt. I mean, right in front of home plate. Molina gets it about 3 feet in front of the plate, but a great jump off the bag by Peterson, and he beats it out there. Well, a big mistake. Now you have an opportunity to have Herrera to drop down a bunt. Set the table for Braun.
2 on, nobody out. First time tonight the Brewers have had multiple base runners against Martinez. And Herrera shows bunt, gets it down. That's a good one. Martinez, tough play. Throw to first.
Wow.
Out at first. My goodness.
Ah, man, that is a great play.
This is
an
impressive showing of athleticism from the Cardinal pitcher tonight.
The pitchers just don't make this play. Check this out. A beautiful bunt. Look at this. Kidding me? On the money. Something on it.
Man.
And that is about as good as it gets right there, folks. Carlos Martinez. Wow.
He's already run a 4 flat to first base, trying to leg out an infield hit. That's impressive.
Yeah,
and this is off the charts impressive.
And he's out. I mean, clearly out. Well, Mike Matheny's on his way out there. He's going to talk to his guys and wonder if he wants to walk Braun. You got Lyndon Davis following Ryan Braun. Picking it up like that, number 1. Number 2, the jump throw. And number 3, something on it.
Wow.
And how about number 4, right on the money?
The arm strength. I mean, you know he's got a great arm, but you don't think of a pitcher making a play like that with that kind of arm strength. That was impressive. So they're going to go ahead and walk Braun intentionally, which is not a bad idea, especially the way he's been swinging the bat.
And you got Adam Lind coming up.
Well, Chance had a big inning for the Brewers. Matheny does not have a left-hander ready in the bullpen at all.
Surprising, isn't it?
This is Martinez's game here.
That's an empty bullpen, and you know, with 12 pitchers down in his bullpen, you would think that Matheny might have a lefty getting loose. He's sticking with his right-hander. Why not? He's been the star of the show tonight for St. Louis.
Well, big spot here. Martinez is pitching well. Pitch count is low. But you're in the 6th inning of a 1-1 game. And Matheny is not going to play matchup with Adam Lind. He's going to let it ride with Martinez. Bases loaded, 1 out.
And he got real good speed all on the bases. Try and find that gap. Might score 3.
Chased a high fastball, 98 miles an hour from Martinez.
Still got something left in that tank. Look at him. He's ready to go. Not messing around.
Adam Lind has 3 career grand slams. Has not had one since the 2011 season. Matheny has 3 left-handers in his bullpen, but obviously he feels like Martinez is the better weapon right now in the 6th inning. Outside, ball 2. Back to the fastball. Cubs just won the second game of that doubleheader. Lester goes the distance. So the Cubs and Pirates split a doubleheader today. 3 balls and a strike on Lynn.
Went with a changeup on a 2-1 count.
St. Louis currently 2.5 ahead of the Pirates. A win they go up 3, a loss they go down to 2 games back, or 2 games ahead, I should say. So this has a lot on it. 6th inning in a 1-1 game. 3-1. And Lind on the ground. That is fair. Step on the bag. Throw to the plate. Out. A double play to end the inning. Mark Reynolds just in the game. Gloves it. Stepped on the bag. Molina saw that. Knew he had to put a tag down. And a double play ends the inning. The move pays off for Mike Matheny. Great play by Reynolds.
We're all tied at 1 in the top of the 7th inning. This Sunday, Brewers second baseman Scooter Gennett gets the proud distinction of having a Garden Gnome giveaway in his likeness. The Brewers host the Reds, and all fans in attendance will get a Scooter Gennett Garden Gnome courtesy of Waterstone Bank. For tickets, go to Brewers.com. Where is yours?
The much anticipated Scooter Gnome Day.
Where is it?
I don't know. I think somebody. We did it go on a long road trip. I think somebody.
You took it home, didn't you?
Somebody pilfered it. I got a little shrine set up at home.
You took it home.
It's nice.
I know you did.
I don't even have it in a garden. It's right there in the middle of my living room.
Maybe Will Smith took it home.
Will Smith on the mound to pitch. Knebel got through the 6th inning. The Brewers just had the bases loaded and 1 out and a double play to end the inning. But now Smith will take over the 1-1 game.
Yeah, great opportunity for the Brewers, and they didn't even have a hit. You know, a couple of walks, a fielder's choice, and then the double play. Hey, Will Smith's going to come in with 2 left-handers to start this inning. Last pitched on Sunday against the Pirates and actually tossed 2 scoreless innings, so multiple innings for Will. Allowed a hit, but struck out 2 batters.
We got to give Matheny credit. The book would tell you to bring on a lefty to face Lind. He stuck with his hunch. Martinez pitching well. And Martinez was able to get out of the inning.
I tell you, the other guy that gets credit, Yadier Molina, calling a changeup on the 3-1 count with the bases loaded. And Adam Lind out in front of it. And got the double play. Changeup.
If he misses, it's a walk and a run. Turned into a double play. That's a lot of guts. And obviously Martinez has 100% faith in whatever Molina suggests. Good game tonight. Tight one. 1-1 ball game, 7th inning. Cardinals play a lot of these type games. A lot of close, low-scoring games.
Yeah.
And they have the best record in the major leagues. They win a lot of these close.
Because of their pitching, not their offense. 12th in the league. It's got incredible starting pitching. Bullpen's not bad either. A team earned run average of 287 coming in.
Ball and 2 strikes. Colton Wong and a swing and a foul.
You notice there's nobody up in that Cardinals bullpen again. So Carlos Martinez in the dugout a couple of seconds ago, and he had a helmet on.
Right, he's certainly moving on, and I'm sure, having heard that he cannot get past 5 innings only once in his last 8 starts, he's anxious to show everybody that he will continue. And Matheny believes in him that way. He's got a good game plan tonight, other than that home run to Davis. There's a ground ball that's going to get through. A base hit for Wong on a 2-strike pitch by Smith.
Yeah, 1-2 count. And left-handers continue to swing the bat well against Smith.
That's a 3rd leadoff hitter to reach base for the Cardinals tonight.
It's amazing, though, in a 1-1 game in the 7th inning that Matheny doesn't have anybody getting loose, and his pitcher's on deck. They need runs.
Yeah, you get a double play here, face the pitcher, get through the inning. Heck, the way Martinez has swung the bat tonight, he might be your best option anyway, at least this early in the game.
You saw this from Clint Hurdle too in Pittsburgh. Remember, I mean, he really stuck with his, guy, the bullpen guy, the relievers. He let him stay in for a while. Starters left him out there. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe getting ready for postseason. Not sure. So Joe Madden leave Lester in for the entire game tonight. Game 2.
How big is that when you're playing a day-night doubleheader and your starter goes the distance?
Right.
And you talk about a breath for your bullpen. That's a big win for the Cubs. We talk a lot about the Cardinals and the Pirates. Well, the Cubs are keeping themselves in the picture as well. Chicago is just 6.5 back of St. Louis starting play today. One ball, 1 strike on Jay. The closest division race in baseball is in the American League West, where the Astros started play tonight a half a game ahead of the Rangers, tied in the loss column, 1 more win than Texas, and those 2 teams are playing tonight. The Rangers could be in first place in the West with a win tonight. They're tied at 5 in the 4th.
Well, if the Astros lose that lead in the West, which they've held pretty much all season long, they're going to pinpoint their road schedule. Their road record. See their road record? 29-43, the Astros.
That's a go figure.
Yeah.
For a team that is 77-67, 10 games over. 14 under on the road. There's a shot right to Segura. Easy flip. Double play. Taylor made. Will Smith gets a hot ground ball out of John Jay, and the Brewers turn 2.
Scooter Gennett had a long way to go to turn that double play. He was shaded in the hole. Still not there. Segura had to wait for a second, but Jade not running all that well. And he gets the double play. Second double play for the Brewers tonight.
And here comes the pitcher, Martinez, with 2 outs and nobody on. Martinez doubled in the 3rd inning, and then he almost legged out a single, an infield single, in the 5th inning. Now, why not? When you're as fast as he is.
And you get the home run leader coming up. Trying to drop down a bunt down the 3rd base line. How many pitchers do you see try to do that? Not many.
Carpenter due next. No balls, 2 strikes. Smith trying to make it a scoreless 7th for the Brewers, and he does so. A swing and a miss. Will Smith gives up a leadoff single, but a double play and a strikeout. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th, tied at 1. The first run of the game off the bat of Chris Davis. That was in the 5th inning. Led off the 5th. That was on an 0-2 pitch. Number 21 for Davis. And then the very next half inning, Johnny Peralta driving in Jason Hayward, who had doubled to start the inning. And that's been it offensively. Very well pitched game. Carlos Martinez has given up 1 run on only 2 hits. Braun and Davis with the hits. Davis, of course, with that homer. Ariel Pena started for the Brewers, went 5+, 1 run. Knebel and Smith have both posted scoreless innings. So here is Chris Davis to start it, bottom of the 7th. First of a 3-game series with the Cardinals. And the Brewers treating this one like a postseason series. They know they don't have a postseason this year, so try to disrupt what the Cardinals are doing. And now Davis into left center, a base hit. And that deep outfield allows Piscotty to cut that off and hold Davis to a single. That's exactly why they do it.
That's normally a double. Now, how about Chris Davis? How quick are his hands? It's much easier to get to that fastball in the mid to upper 90s when it's down in the strike zone. And Davis with his second hit. Martinez pitch count's in great shape, huh? 86 pitches.
He's been efficient tonight. Here's Santana, big power threat at the plate. Looking for a mistake from Martinez. Martinez has been tough on Santana so far. 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts. That slider devastating. Man, he's thrown his best sliders against Santana tonight. That was right down the middle, and Domingo missed it.
It didn't break. It kind of, the players like to call it backup slider. You see the spin, doesn't break. You end up jamming yourself on it.
See that patch on his sleeve, Oscar Taveras, who passed away in a car accident this offseason. Carlos Martinez and Taveras were the best of friends, and were actually together that day when he passed. That was during the World Series, you might remember. Devastating loss for the Cardinal family.
Yeah. Good young player.
So Martinez wears that number 18 and that patch on his sleeve to honor his lost friend, and he's trying to carry on his legacy and his name as best he can. Those who have been around him say he has grown up a lot. That was a tough thing to go through. Not just a teammate.
Friend, yeah. Well, Santana's got the count in his favor. Last time Martinez was in a bad spot. 3-1 pitch to Lynn, threw a changeup, got the double play. Let's see what he gives him here.
Santana has big power, especially to the opposite field. Went up the ladder with a fastball that time.
Tough to get on top of that pitch. 96 up around the belt. Big difference when it's down around the knees like the one Davis got.
Full count and a swing and a foul again. In the seats. Seth Maness loosening in the Cardinal bullpen. We'll do it again. Another payoff pitch. Davis at first. Santana strikes out. That slider got him again. That's the 3rd time Santana has struck out. That's number 8 for Carlos Martinez. As promised earlier in the game, the Data Strong fan photo of the game comes from Jeff. Nice. We asked for dogs with gear. You got a Milwaukee Braves hat and a Brewers hat. Well done, sir.
Which one's Jeff?
I'm going to say Jeff's the one behind the camera. I don't know many dogs named Jeff.
Nice guess.
That's just what I'm thinking. Could be a woman behind the camera. Man or woman, child. Could be another dog. All that fun's brought to you by T-Mobile, Rock. You ever know a dog named Jeff?
No. No.
It's like a dog named Bill. Just don't have that.
It's not real cute, is it?
Big swing by Segura.
Did you get that dog yet?
No dog. We like other people's dogs, like your dog, Rupert. Big fan. I think Mark Reynolds has a broken glove. Might have popped a strap. See that wrap he's wearing? He was hit by a pitch. Doug Fister hit him of the Nationals. And he's been having some problems with that right hand. Said no problem to play defense. Bugs him a little bit to swing the bat, but he's okay to play.
When do you think that glove got broken? Last inning, right?
Maybe, because
yeah, hadn't touched a baseball.
I don't know. Martinez threw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball on a pickoff play a minute ago.
Could have been it.
Chance for 2 here. And Peralta will take it himself, and that's the inning. Carlos Martinez is through 7 strong, 1 run. The Brewers have 1. The Cardinals have 1. Few miles from downtown Milwaukee. We're at Miller Park. Miller Lite, what's on tap? Tomorrow we'll do it again at 6:30 airtime, and first pitch a little after 7. Jaime Garcia and Willie Peralta. Garcia's had a terrific season for the Cardinals. That's our Miller Lite. What's on tap? Logan Schaefer will come into play center field. That'll move Santana over to left field. And rock a new pitcher, Jeremy Jeffress, out of the Milwaukee pen. He'll have the 8th in a 1-1 game.
Yeah, another guy that pitched 2 scoreless innings in Pittsburgh. That was on Sunday. Actually, he pitched 2 innings, gave up a couple of runs, and one of them earned. Has posted a 106 earned run average over his last 17 appearances. Setting career highs in just about every category this year. 65th appearance for him, and has a 5-0 record.
Matt Carpenter will lead off, the leadoff man for St. Louis. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Carpenter, Piscotty, and Hayward coming up. Brewers have gotten very good work from their bullpen tonight. Pena wasn't expected to go deep in a game anyway. And he went 5+, 1 run. He pitched well. Knebel had a scoreless inning. Came on with a runner at first, then got a line drive in foul territory. Lynn caught it, turned into a double play at first. And Knebel then struck out Molina. And then it was Will Smith last inning, a leadoff single. Then a 6-4-3 double play, and then a strikeout to end the inning.
Been a fair amount of double plays as of late, both sides.
Now the Brewers have 2. The Cardinals just turned 1. And there was a double play for St. Louis to end the 6th inning as well. Back-to-back innings of double plays. As a matter of fact, the last 4 frames, we've had 4 double plays. 2 apiece. Jeffress has Carpenter in a 2-2 count. And he got him. Jeremy Jeffress with that backdoor breaking ball and a strikeout.
Yeah, rough day at the office for Carpenter so far. 0 for 4, a couple of punch outs, and Jeffress using that curveball to catch the outside corner. Good pitch. Always important to get that leadoff hitter late in the game.
One away. Here is Piscotty. Piscotty's had a defensive gem tonight. Diving catch out in left field.
There's still no activity in that Cardinals bullpen.
Now Martinez will continue on. He went 7 shutout against the Brewers earlier this year. Has not been able to pitch deep into many games recently, but he's on his A game tonight. Just the 1 run. Brewers have had some base runners, though. In the last 3 innings, they've put 5 men on base. But as I mentioned, a couple of double plays wiped those out. Strike, 3-1. And he missed. There's a walk. It's a 1-out walk. Piscotty is aboard for the hottest Cardinal hitter tonight, Jason Hayward.
Yeah, you don't want to be having anybody on in front of this guy the way he's been swinging it. Hey, reminder, it's Fan Appreciation Weekend at Miller Park this Friday through Sunday. The Brewers take on the Cincinnati Reds, and fans will enjoy prizes and giveaways all throughout the series, including the chance to win a brand new Chevy Trax. For more details, go to brewers.com/fan appreciation.
1 out. Here's Hayward. 2 doubles and a walk tonight. He scored the lone Cardinal run back in the 6th inning. Driven in by Peralta, who's next. Willie Mays had the nickname the Say Hey Kid. Jason Hayward was given the nickname in Atlanta the J Hay Kid. He's from that area too. He and Freddie Freeman were counted on to be the prizes of the Atlanta Braves for many years to come, minor league teammates, and the fact that Jason Hayward's from the Atlanta area, basically a hometown kid playing for his hometown team. He's from McDonough, Georgia. But after the loss of Taveras, Cardinals knew they had to go make a move. They needed an impact bat, and they gave up an impact arm to get Hayward. Shelby Miller traded to Atlanta.
Well, Hayward got off to a slow start, but he's up around the 300 mark and providing some power.
He will be a free agent at season's end. And the Cardinals are a strong candidate to re-sign him. Swing and a miss. 2-1.
Not even close. And Hayward, you see him shaking his head. Say, yep, I knew I swung at a bad pitch.
Hayward was in the big leagues at age 20 and was an all-star in his rookie year. This is year 6 for him. Two balls and a strike. Tell you, just checking the wind whipping through Miller Park. It's interesting here. The pant legs of Jeremy Jeffress whipping around. Must be a current flying through Miller Park right now. I wonder You always wonder when you see winds like that how it affects the flight of the ball.
Maybe the flags really aren't moving all that much.
Two-two pitch. Ground ball. Got a chance. Got to hurry though. Segura, Jeanette, the turn, and safe. Hayward beat it out. Tough guy to double up. The Brewers made it close.
Yeah, especially when you're hitting from the left side of the plate. Get a little bit of a head start. Not as far to go. Good feed, good turn, but not in time.
So Hayward extends the inning for Peralta. Might see Hayward try to steal a base here. He does have a stolen base tonight.
Barely.
Yeah, it would have been an out at second, but Jeanette missed the tag. He caught the ball but missed the base runner sliding in. Peralta has the lone Cardinals RBI tonight. His 61st of the season. He's been a slumping hitter, but that was a big hit back in the sixth. That was after Hayward doubled to start the inning.
Yeah, Jeremy gets rid of the baseball pretty quickly. He's got the little slide step that he has, and making it difficult for a base runner to get a good jump.
Well, the Brewers will be at the bottom of their order for the bottom of the eighth inning. You got Maldonado due to lead off in the pitcher spot, and then back to the top of the order in Scooter Gennett. All tied at one. Jeffers trying to keep it that way. A shot, center field. Schaefer plays it on a hop. Hayward's going to third. And Johnny Peralta is 2 for 4 tonight. Remember, Herrera made that great play on him to rob him of a hit and an RBI in the first inning. So now it's first and third with 2 away.
Yeah, Peralta able to get on top of a fastball, 94 miles an hour from Jeffress. He's barreled up the baseball a couple of times tonight.
And the former Brewer, Mark Reynolds.
Instead of Matt Adams, it's going to be Reynolds.
I think the plan all along for the Cardinals was just to get Adams in a game, get him jump started, let him play 5-6 innings, and that's what they did. Adams started, Reynolds will finish. Buckled his knees, but he missed it. And it's 1-0. See that wrap on Reynolds' right arm, which makes it a Reynolds wrap, right? He got hit on that back wrist by a Doug Fister fastball. Caught him on the inside as he was trying to get out of the way.
There's the guy you want right here. Mark Reynolds, big strikeout guy. He's got big power, but he also strikes out a ton. Brewers fans remember that from last year.
Two and nothing on Reynolds. He's got big power too to go along with those strikeouts. In the air, little jam shot. Schaefer, he's got it. Inning over. Council makes a defensive change and it pays off. We're still tied.
Inning for St. Louis, a 1-1 game as the Brewers go to bat now. And Davey, we get set for Brewers Live. Plenty of highlights on the defensive end. That's why this game is still 1-1 by both teams, though.
That's right. It's been a well-pitched, well-played game. That means not many hits, but great plays. The defense from both sides have been turning some nice double plays, making some plays, diving plays. Herrera, and then the pitcher, Martinez, my goodness, that's athleticism at its best.
Each team is countered here. There's no question about that as this game has gone along. We'll break it down, see if the Brewers can get a victory here in game one of this 3-game series coming up on Brewers Live. Brian?
All right, Craig and Davey, thanks. Looking forward to that. Here we go. Bottom of the 8th. Martin Maldonado will start it. And a late swing on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Carlos Martinez has been on the gas from the first pitch.
Still has good zip on that fastball.
Brewers are looking for one mistake. They've got Frankie Rodriguez warming in the bullpen. He's going to pitch the 9th regardless. They'd love to have it come as a save opportunity.
Louisville only had that one scoring opportunity. That was in the 6th inning. Other than the Davis home run, Brewers have had one at bat with a man in scoring position tonight.
Well, that 6th inning was a killer. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Maldonado swings, a strikeout for Martinez, his 9th. 9 punch outs, 1 out in the 8th inning. Say you can vote for your MVP and help us decide which Fox Sports Supports partner will be crowned the winner. The charity with the most votes at the end of this Brewer season will score big with a donation from Hupy and Abraham. Choose from American Heart Association of Wisconsin, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee, or Fisher House, Wisconsin. Go to foxsportswisconsin.com/supports to vote. Logan Schaefer takes a strike. Nice running catch to end the top of this 8th inning for Schaefer. Just in the game defensively, and this is his first at bat. Up the middle, tough play, and it's a base hit for Schaefer. Logan Schaefer, a single with 1 away in his first at bat of the night, and there is the go-ahead run in the 8th.
Been swinging the bat much better since his call-up. Just not able to get there is Wong. Wong's been battling a leg problem, not able to get to that ground ball. Would have been a base hit anyway. There's finally some activity in that Cardinals bullpen.
Left-hander Kevin Segrist, and with left-hander Scooter Gennett coming up, Matheny will stick with Martinez. Segrist just started throwing, so I'm not even sure he's completely loosened up, ready to come in. I'm sure Matheny's getting him ready for Adam Lind if he should bat.
Well, he's sticking with his hot pitcher. Why wouldn't you, Ray?
I don't blame him. Carlos Martinez has been lights out tonight. Just 4 hits. One of those hits a home run by Davis. He's racked up 9 strikeouts. 2 walks. One of those was intentional, though. 0-2 on Gennett.
Yep, 96 on the corner. Pitch count at 102. (102 pitches, 72 strikes.
The runner at first, Schaefer, very fast. So if Gennett could somehow get one down the line or in a gap, he's got a great chance to score. And that one's in the right field. Long run for Hayward. He's got it for the out. 2 away.
Another changeup. It's been amazing watching this young guy pitch. Using all 3 of his pitches and been able to throw them all for strikes. And you see it, 73 strikes.
That's a lot of strikes.
Out of 103 pitches, you bet it is.
Pouring them in. 2 outs, runner at first. Here is Herrera. Leon's 0 for 2. Had a sac bunt his last time up. Was robbed of a hit back in the 4th inning. A diving catch by Piscotty. And Schaefer's picked off. That's a no-no. Can't do it. Martinez having the complete game here today. Pitching well, defending well. Pickoff move. He's got a hit tonight. Schaefer gets picked off to end the inning. We go to the 9th, tied at 1. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. All tied at 1 under the lights on a Tuesday night. Beautiful night for baseball. What a game we have. Cardinals, Brewers. Cardinals in a pennant race. They are the division leader right now. And the Brewers trying to disrupt that a little bit. Francisco Rodriguez will come on in a tie game. Not a save situation. And he's trying to get the Brewers to the bottom of the 9th, still tied.
Yeah, last time out was Thursday at Pittsburgh. It was a good news, bad news scenario. Good news was he picked up his first win of the season. Bad news was it was his second blown save.
Yadier Molina will lead off for St. Louis. And then a couple of lefties scheduled to hit. Colton Wong and John Jay to follow. Looking ahead to the Milwaukee 9th inning. It'll be Braun, Lind, I beg your pardon, Herrera, Braun, and Lind. And if anybody should get on, Chris Davis. One ball, one strike. Molina swings and sounded like it was off the end of the bat, out to Santana for the out. And Molina's 0 for 4 tonight. One away for K-Rod.
Just couldn't wait back in that curveball. Had him out on the end. Well, Gregory Polanco took a changeup out on K-Rod in the 9th inning in Pittsburgh on Thursday. Then was able to retire the side, and he was able to come back and pick up a run.
Here's Colton Wong. Yeah, big swing and a miss. Frankie threw him the changeup. Wong was looking for a fastball and he missed it by a mile.
Always a great pitch to a young hitter.
Ground ball. Jeanette over there to make the play, and there is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Rodriguez. And here is John Jay now, who is 0 for 3. He lined out in the 3rd, bounced into a double play in the 7th, hit that ball hard as well, but right at Segura. It's kind of night that happens. Hit the ball hard a couple of times and you barrel it up, but you got nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Good pitching, good defense tonight. And as you mentioned, I mean, this is kind of a game the Cardinals have been playing a lot. Not a lot of offense, good pitching. Could go either way. Whoever takes advantage of a break at the end wins a game.
Well, if this game stays tied, looks like Kevin Segrist, his independent, would come in. If the Cardinals take the lead, and then you're going to get their closer, Rosenthal. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jay. Rosenthal on the right, Segrist the lefty on the left side. Now the other thought with the switch hitter Herrera leading off and then Braun, you might see Martinez return.
That's going to depend on what's going on with John Jay. They have a pinch hitter on deck. But you're right. If he doesn't get up, Jay makes an out here, you might see Martinez back out there.
Greg Garcia has moved on deck.
Pitch count starting to climb a little bit for Carlos Martinez. He looks done.
Yeah, you're right. He's up on the top rail. Looks like he's done regardless. And the Brewers are glad to see that.
That's why Matheny stuck with him so long. Keep a hot pitcher out there and keep him off the board.
8 innings, 9 strikeouts, just 1 run on 4 hits. Payoff pitch coming from K-Rod, and he lost him. 2-out walk. Cardinals have the go-ahead run aboard now with 2 away, and here comes the pinch hitter, Greg Garcia.
Best thing the Brewers offense could see is Garcia walking the home plate. Get that guy out of there, they're saying. What a night he had. Impressive, to say the least.
Rick Kranitz on his way out for a quick scouting report. Peter Borges will run for John Jay. One of the fastest runners in the big leagues. I'd like to see a race between Carlos Martinez and Peter Borges. I think Martinez will give him a run.
I'll tell you. Well, K-Rod usually pretty slow to home plate, so you might see Borges try and steal. Although Borges has the stolen bases, he does get thrown out a lot.
All tied at 1, 2 outs. And K-Rod to Garcia. There's a strike. Tough duty for a young hitter. K-Rod's tough on all hitters, but at least if you have a little bit of experience against him.
Especially the changeup is awfully tough on young kids.
Just because there aren't any like it in the minor leagues. Nobody throws it like Frankie Rodriguez.
Certainly the guy you want. You don't have to deal with Matt Carpenter. He's on deck.
Broken bat. Segura backhands, long throw, and it's in time. Man, we have seen some great defense in this game. That play was made to look easy. It was not. Bottom of the ninth, Brewers coming up. One, the Cardinals and the Brew Crew at Miller Park. Peter Borges will stay in the game to play center field. Came in for Jay, pinch ran for him last inning. And finally, the Brewers get to a reliever. It's Kevin Segrist, who's had a great year out of the St. Louis bullpen.
Yeah, 72nd appearance for him. 6-1. He ranks amongst league leaders in wins out of the bullpen in the National League. I think it's 4th. Yeah, but Segrist last appeared on the 13th at Cincinnati, a scoreless inning. Hard throwing left-hander, one of 3 lefties in that Cardinals bullpen. Cardinals started the night with 12 relievers in the pen. First time they've used one here in the 9th. Unusual.
Carlos Martinez went 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. He struck out 9, 2 walks, one of those intentional. Elian Herrera, switch hitter, will lead off. And then Braun, and then Lynn, maybe. Be curious to see if Counsell allows Lynn to bat against the left-hander. Well, it's going to be a final at-bat win for someone tonight.
Yeah, Brewers with Ashley, Perez, Rogers on the bench. Lucroy available, but not sure he's going to be used. Probably won't. And Sardinius, the switch hitter.
No balls, 2 strikes on Herrera. Talking to himself. Stay on the ball, he says. Cubs and Pirates split a doubleheader today. Who just missed. Herrera staying alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count remains.
Segrist has 79 strikeouts. That's 2nd best amongst National League relievers. So he's got the swing and miss stuff with that big fastball, the slider to go with it.
See what it gives him here. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Herrera. Inside, almost hit him.
Take one for the team, don't you there?
I mean, I mean, that's the way it looks from up here.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we would have done.
That's easy to say here, right?
Fight or flight instinct. I don't blame you, Elion. Buttermaker's not here, so don't worry about it.
Easy to be brave up here.
All right, count goes to 3-2 now. A Cardinal win, they'll be up 3 games in the division. A Brewer win, St. Louis just 2 games up on the Pirates in the division. 3-2 pitch and a strikeout. Herrera cuts and misses. Down he goes. And that sets up a matchup with Seagrass against Braun. He put the fastball right by him.
Yep, right on the outer half of the plate, and looked like Herrera trying to pull it.
Well, Braun trying to end this one right here and now. Braun has not had a walk-off home run since 2011, if you're wondering, if you're keeping track of the walk-off home run chart.
I would imagine you're going to be pretty careful with him here.
Well, he's got 3.
Braun hitting .330 against lefties this year with 6 home runs.
6 of his 25. Adam Lind is on deck. And then the pitcher spot for Davis.
That was a changeup.
Mike Matheny and his bench coach David Bell trying to walk through the scenarios in this one. 2 balls, no strikes. Braun looking for a mistake. And Seagrass missing badly.
He don't want him. So went all changeups in this at bat. All 3 pitches have been changeups and none of them close. Well, Braun doesn't usually swing 3-0, but this will be a time to do it.
Got the lefty Lind on deck. Then a pinch hitter after that. 3-0. Braun takes ball 4. And there is the winning run. Very few players in the game command that kind of respect, but Braun's one of them, especially the way he's swinging the bat lately.
Yeah. That particular with Lind coming up, the left-hander. Then you have the pitcher spot.
Well, Lind had an at-bat in the 6th inning with the bases loaded. And hit a ground ball to first, turned into a 3-2 double play. Reynolds fielded the ball, stepped on the bag, and then threw to the plate for a tag play. He's got another shot here. 1-1 game, 9th inning.
Yeah, barring something crazy, I don't think Braun's going to be able to score unless Lind hits one out of here. If you thought the Cardinal outfield was playing deep all night, check him out right now.
Are they even in the ballpark?
Yeah. A couple of steps back, they have to buy a ticket.
Trying to protect from that extra base hit. Braun has great wheels and would certainly score if a batted ball goes to the wall. Wonder if Braun's going to try to steal. He is not. Braun is the Brewers' best base stealer, but he's had a tough time against lefties and was actually going back to first base when Seagrass delivered that pitch home.
Yeah, unless you get a great jump, don't bother because you got Molina behind home plate.
There's a strike. Fastball. That is easy cheese out of Seagrass's hand. It looks so effortless, and I would imagine as a hitter just explodes onto the plate.
Yep. Best bulk than 95. Threw one of those to Herrera.
Oh, close play. Wow, Braun just back. Little step off move. from Segrist.
Yep, Brawny a little bit late. Sliding to the outfield side of the bag, making that tag a little bit longer. Good thing.
That was close. Good call, though. First base umpire Mike McClinsky. Matheny is alerting the umpires he wants to take a look at it and says, we're good here. Play on. Crowd is quiet. Lynn trying to get them on their feet in the ninth. All tied at 1. Here it comes. Lynn takes a ball. Didn't miss by much. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And now Lynn has the count in his favor. Those are the splits for Lynn. .231 hitter against lefties. Does not have a home run against left-handed pitching this year.
Let's drop one into that Brewers bullpen here. There's the mistake he was looking for. A little bit high, get it down maybe a couple of inches. He might give it a ride.
Two. Braun carrying the winning run at first base. And Lynn fouls it away. Now this is where a catcher like Molina is such an asset. Not just the calling of the game and the sequence here, but his ability to block pitches. Pitchers have no fear of throwing one in the dirt. And Molina wants a fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Lynn, little chopper. Segrist barehands it, throws to first. That's another good play off the mound by a Cardinal pitcher.
Yeah, but Ryan Braun able to get into second base. So Adam Lynn able to put it in play at least and advance a base runner.
So now the Brewers a base hit away from potentially winning this game. If Rogers can get one to touch the outfield grass, Braun's going to be on the move with the crack of the bat. He should score. The best arm out in the Cardinal outfield is in right field with Hayward. Strong and accurate.
Yeah, Piscotty not bad either.
A former third baseman. Here's Jason Rogers, a chance to win it for the Brewers. Bottom of the ninth in a 1-1 game. And a strike. Rogers pinch hitting. He's done a good job off the bench. Not a lot of young players have much success at all in that role. Rogers has embraced it.
Shows good patience up at the plate off the bench. Got quick hands, particularly on the inside corner.
Rogers with a couple of homers this year, 9 RBIs. It's been a good part of the year in the minor leagues. He was up and down. Got sent down and he went to AAA for about a month and he swung the bat really well. Brought him back up. He's essentially a man without a position right now. First base is where you see him defensively. But he can swing the bat. And he takes a ball. That's a good take. 3 balls and a strike. What was that, a changeup, Rock?
Yeah, took a little bit off. Segrist has been doing that. When fastball counts.
Wow,
Mike Winters hasn't missed too many pitches, but that was pretty close.
Pitch number 4 is right there. If I'm a pitcher, I'm begging for that one. Hitters count. Braun carrying the winning run at second. All tied at 1, and Rogers takes ball 4. So Rogers is aboard. That run doesn't mean a thing, but it does extend the inning. And here comes Domingo Santana. Now, this is the perfect symbol of what this matchup is tonight. You got the Cardinals fighting for the division. The Brewers trying to get a look at a young player, and he steps up with a chance to win the game. Domingo Santana, whom the Brewers acquired from the Astros, part of that Gomez Fires deal.
Well, this is really so unlike Mike Matheny, the way he normally manages. I mean, normally you got Seth Mannies out there, and he's ready to go. And he had Rogers a pinch hitter. Ordinarily, that would be a time when Matheny comes out and brings out the right-hander. Another one coming out. Santana, and he keeps his lefty in there.
That's a great point.
Unusual.
He uses his bullpen as much as anyone, especially in September when you have all the matchups. But every button he's pushed so far has worked out. Santana in a 1-0 count and a swing and a miss.
Good pitch to hit right there. Another off-speed pitch. Really working that changeup.
Santana has not made much contact tonight. He struck out 3 times. Probably has as much to do with the decision as anything from Matheny. And that one's in there, a strike, a fastball. Santana's got the wheels in motion upstairs, doesn't he?
Yeah. Sometimes it gets into your head. You're not sure what to look for, so you're looking for nothing. Caught in between.
Segras in the driver's seat. 1-2 pitch. Santana was late, way late.
95, his best bolt.
All tied at 1, 9th inning. Braun carries the game-ending run at second base. The 1-2 pitch. Down he goes. Extra innings at Miller Park. All tied at 1. We go to the 10th. And we're headed to extra innings. We go to the 10th. What a ball game tonight. This has been a good one. Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's. Feed your wild side.
I've got some in here. You want some?
Yes, that comes in handy. That's why we do it.
There you go. There's some.
Tyler Thornburg on the mound to pitch the 10th. He's been pitching well lately.
Yes, he has. You know, this is the 3rd extra inning game for the Brewers in the last 5. So no strangers to extra innings. And Tyler Thornburg on for the 21st time, a .338 earned run average for Tyler. Mentioned Thornburg's been pretty good. Last pitched on Sunday. He did pick up a loss, his first loss of the season. Gave up that base hit to Josh Harrison that ended the ball game. But, you know, in 14 appearances since being called up, he's got a .229 earned run average.
Matt Carpenter will lead off for St. Louis. Top of the order coming up. Carpenter, Piscotty, and Hayward. Carpenter is 0 for 4 tonight. And anytime Matt Carpenter's 0 for 4 and you're in the 9th inning and a chance to win the game, just to avoid having to face Carpenter because he doesn't have too many offers.
Yeah. He's had a few this year. He's down to 258. That's not been a strike all night, has it? I've been watching Fox Tracks all night with Mike Winters. He has not missed too many. He's been good tonight.
On the Bill Schroeder grade, he's coming up roses tonight.
He is. I think he's. You watch Fox Tracks. That kind of tells you.
Ground ball. Lind is over. He bobbles. I got a chance here. Jeanette, the throw to first is late.
Oh boy, this is. Well, you can't do that. That's the last thing you can do. That happened on Sunday. Remember, the Brewers made an error to start the 7th inning against Pittsburgh. Pirates went on to tie it up. Had a 2-run lead. A leadoff error. And I guess the Cardinals going here in the 10th.
E3 on Lind. Here's Piscotty.
Man, a game that has been highlighted by great defense. Man, you hope that miscue is not going to cost you.
Yeah, that's a great point. How many highlight reel plays have we had tonight from both teams? Piscotty made a diving catch in left center earlier in this game. That was a beauty. Segura's got a couple. Herrera.
Adam Lind had a nice play in foul territory on a line drive. Yep. Only takes one.
Well, see if Thornburg can get a double play ball here and pick up his defense. Whole lot on the line for the Cardinals tonight. Greg Counsell was talking before the game about playing these types of games, and the Brewers are going to see the Cardinals twice. They've got them here, and then they'll have them next weekend in St. Louis. They're going to see the Cubs twice at Wrigley next week, early in the week, and then the final 3 games of the year against the Cubs. So a lot to play for those teams, and Counsell excited to see how some of his young players hold up entering into a pennant race and an ability to disrupt the pennant race. Strike. 2-2. The last extra inning game between the Brewers and the Cardinals was September of 14, September 18th, almost a year ago to the date. Missed it by 3 days. Cardinals won that game in 13 innings. So the Brewers trying to return the favor tonight. 2-2. Piscotty fouls it away. Piscotty has a batting average of .324, but he's been better with runners on base. He's hitting .353 with runners on in his brief time in the big leagues. Count stays at 2-2. Cardinals are in much better shape in their bullpen than the Brewers if this thing does go a while.
Yeah, no kidding.
St. Louis got 8 innings out of their starter, Carlos Martinez.
They've got 8 guys left. I'm sorry, 8 guys left in the bullpen. Not check that 10. That was right the first time.
A small village down there.
Yeah.
Could play all night, Rock. On the ground, Herrera's got it. Tough throw out there. Throw to first is high.
That's a nice play.
Man, Herrera saving a bunch of hits. Robbing Piscotty of a single. Gets the lead out at second base. He was in an awkward throwing position.
Well, as long as you get the lead runner. You force the Cardinals to get the extra base hit to score a run. Another nice play.
He's had 2 beauties tonight. So here's Hayward. He has been on base all 4 trips to the plate. Last time was a fielder's choice. But he has 2 doubles and a walk here tonight. In the dirt. Carpenter started then stopped. Good job by Maldonado.
He is the king of the extra inning games, Martin Maldonado.
Yeah, that's true. When's he due up again? He's got a home run in him, right? He's due up second next inning.
It seems like lately every game he's played has been extra innings.
He only hits walk-off home runs in extra innings, by the way. So he's got that going for him.
Yeah. Well, if you're wondering, Piscotty's 2 for 2 in stolen bases.
Thornburg, pretty quick release to the plate. Got a good move. He's fallen behind. 3-0 on Hayward.
The only guy that he and Peralta, the only 2 really have done much for the Cardinals tonight.
Hayward runs well. He's tough to double up. He's got to hit one right at an infielder with something on it. Legged out a potential double play as last time. And that ball is way back. Not coming back. Yikes. That was a rocket out of here into the second deck. And Jason Hayward has given the Cardinals a 3-1 lead on a no-doubter to right.
Well, he's been the guy tonight. Jason Hayward. 3 hits, 3 extra base hits. Check this out. A missile. And a fastball down, out away from him, and he smokes that one into the upper deck.
Bender opens up the Peralta at bat for a strike. Jason Hayward, what a night. 2 doubles, a homer. He's walked. 12th home run of the season. Now 55 runs batted in. He scored the first Cardinal run and he just drove in the next 2.
No difference, the Brewers are not able to pitch around their hot hitter. The Cardinals were. They were able to walk Braun. Pitch around them and go after everybody else. Brewers weren't in a position to do that in this inning.
That's where that air really gets them.
Yep.
Puts you in a bind as a manager.
Yeah, if you have 2 outs, nobody on, you kind of work around them. You don't give them anything to hit. Couldn't do it.
0-2 pitch. Peralta in the air, left field. Santana went back and has to make a basket catch for out number 2. It's got a sting for Thornburg. The last time he was on the mound, Jason Hayward had that walk-off in Pittsburgh. And now a 2-run homer in the 10th. Here's Mark Reynolds. Well, in a game of very few opportunities to score, the Brewers let a golden opportunity pass in the 6th. Had the bases loaded with 1 out and Adam Lind at the plate. And he rolled to Reynolds, who smartly stepped on the bag in the bases loaded situation and then threw to the plate. Molina certainly recognized it right away. Was not a force. He put the tag down. And that ended the inning. And that took the air out of the Brewers offensively.
Well, they had their opportunity in the bottom of the 9th inning. And in scoring position, not able to get it done. Not going to win many games when you get 4 hits.
Milwaukee will have to deal with the terrific closer of the Cardinals. Trevor Rosenthal.
I'll tell you, remember we played the Cardinals early in the season, and Jason Hayward just could not pull the ball to save his life. What a difference in him.
Yeah, looks like a different hitter altogether.
Yes, he does.
Everything has been pulled tonight for Hayward. Had the ground rule double in the 1st inning, and then he ripped one for a double into the gap in the 6th inning. And pulls that one into the 2nd level of the bleachers. Good change up. Reynolds strikes out. Inning is over, but damage done. The J. Hay Kid. A 2-run home run. Brewers are down a pair. Heading to the bottom of the 10th. The Brewers need 2 to tie. 3 will win it. But they're going to have to do that against one of the game's very best. Trevor Rosenthal, 2nd in the National League in saves behind Melanson. Rosenthal has 43 saves and 45 tries.
They picked up number 43 in Chicago against the Cubs on September 9th. So it's been a while for him. Pitched a scoreless inning in that game, including a strikeout. 73 strikeout, 23 walks, and 62 in the 3rd innings for the St. Louis closer. He's only allowed 1 home run all season long. Brewers in the last 2 series have faced the top 2 save guys in the National League, Mark Melanson and now Trevor Rosenthal.
Segura takes a strike. Gene Segura has been sparkling defensively tonight. He's still looking for his first hit. 0 for 3, bounced into a double play in the 7th inning. We had a stretch there of 4 consecutive half innings with double plays. Now the Brewers won an extra inning game in Pittsburgh last Thursday. Lost in extras Sunday. It was Josh Harrison in that game. And tonight it's Jason Hayward. They've been Jay Hayed twice.
Yeah, Josh Harrison, Jason Hayward. That was a missile off the bat of Hayward.
miles an hour. Trevor Rosenthal. Two best closers in the National League in the same division, the Pirates and the Cardinals, Melanson and Rosenthal. Melanson coming into play tonight, or today I should say, with 45 saves. Rosenthal 2 behind him. Swing and a miss. Segura strikes out. Out number 1. Yeah, right by him.
Yeah, blew it right by him.
Luis Sardinas will bat for the Brewers. He'll hit for Maldonado. Melanson did notch a save in the first game of the doubleheader today against the Cubs. His 46th. Pirates beat the Cubs 5-4. Sardinas rolls one to Peralta. 2 outs. So the Cardinals are an out away from going 3 games up on the Pirates in the Central Division. Those 2 teams have a showdown in Pittsburgh at the end of September. 3-game series. Logan Schaefer, the last hope, trying to get on and then have somebody hit one out of here. Schaefer had a hit his last time up, which was his first at bat. Got a single to center. Now you got to give Matheny a lot of credit tonight. He's played some hunches and they have paid off. And a guy who normally makes a lot of pitching changes, let it ride on a few occasions. And it all worked out.
Yeah.
That's a big part of managing. And we talk to Craig Counsell about this all the time, and as he gets into his job for the first time, and like Matheny, had never managed anywhere, never managed in the minor leagues. But you got to have enough guts to play a hunch every now and then. You got to kind of see how your pitchers are going, and Brewers just did not get anything going tonight offensively as Schaefer slaps one foul.
Yeah, 2 of the best starts that Carlos Martinez has made all season long. Both have come against the Brewers back in April. 7 shutout innings. Allowed only 1 run tonight in 8 innings.
He looks like an emerging ace, Martinez. Certainly has the stuff. Schaefer muscles one into right center. That's going to fall for a base hit. So Logan Schaefer 2 for 2, and he keeps hopes alive here in the 10th inning. Well, now a long ball will tie this thing up.
And pulling the hands in just enough to muscle it into right field. Down to right center. Let's say, since he's been recalled, his at-bats have been much better.
Scooter Gennett, top of the order for the Brewers. And a strike from Rosenthal at 99. Cardinals got a 2-run homer out of Hayward in the top of the 10th. Now the Brewers trying to answer. Oh, and 2 the count. Down to their last strike. Got him. A strikeout to end it. And the St. Louis Cardinals win the game, and they win their 90th of the year. Jason Hayward is the star tonight. 2 doubles and a decisive homer in the 10th. On base all 5 times tonight. On his 12th home run. Cardinals win in 10 innings. And it's time for Brewers Live. We send it out to Craig Kashawn. He's with Davey Nelson tonight. Brewers Live starts now. Take it away, Craig.
Okay, B.A., thanks very much. Tough one here, obviously, for Milwaukee to open up this homestand against the Cardinals, but the Cardinals proving why they are still on top of the division. We'll catch up with Craig Counsell and the crew next on Brewers Live.